You might think that you can use any color you like. But there are colors that are difficult to get. Whether toxic, outdated, illegal, or copyrighted, some colors are simply prohibited. If you want to follow this series of videos, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell. Let's get started. In the 16th century, a new shade of brown paint began to appear in European art, called the brown mummy. You might think this is just a creative name, but in reality, this paint was made from the shattered ancient Egyptians. In the 19th century, Egyptomania spread throughout Europe and the United States, when people used mummies for decoration, medicine, paper, and even party games at mummy opening events. The exact technique of preparing the flowers varied slightly, and today it is nearly impossible to determine if a painting uses any material from any analysis, but all forms include a real mummy. But not everyone even knew what this paint was actually made of. When one of the illustrators, Edward Burne-Jones, discovered the true origins of the materials he used, he arranged an impromptu funeral for the mummy in his backyard. But, as in ancient Egypt itself, the era of color was about to end. In 1964, the creator of mummy brown paint stated that the mummies were over, saying, "We may have some strange limbs out there somewhere, but they aren't enough to make more paint." If you want to recreate the shadow today, you may face some problems getting the material. At the beginning of the 19th century, a completely new paint penetrated into high Victorian society. German paint manufacturer Karl Wilhelm Scheele has released a shade of green so vibrant that it has become a party member across Western Europe. New gas lamp technology brightens nightly events, and this emerald green is perfect to assert yourself as a modern woman. Soon, green shoes were spotted all over the UK in dresses, wallpaper, carpets and fake plants. Unfortunately, this new colorant is made from copper arsenic, which contains the deadly element arsenic. The woman who wore it developed blisters. Families began to vomit in green living rooms. Factory workers who used the dye on a daily basis experienced organ failure. One fake florist, Matilda Shearer, died a gruesome death, vomited green, the whites of her eyes turned green, and she told others that everything she saw was green. Although people at the time knew that arsenic was deadly if swallowed, the hype around green shale helped spread the idea that the substance could be destroyed by other routes of exposure. Although doctors and the media quickly discovered the connection, people resisted the warnings in the name of fashion until 1895. Vantablack is one of the darkest colors known to mankind. Developed by British company Surrey Nanosystems in the early 2000s, it can absorb 99.965% of visible light. It is listed in the Guinness Book of World Records as the darkest man-made material until in 2015 it knocked over a less attractive substance known as the dark binaries of the chameleon. It can be used to shield telescopes and beam cameras from light, infrared and possibly solar energy harvesting. It can also have military applications such as intense camouflage. However, if you are using Vantablack paint to create a contemporary piece of art or decorate your bedroom, you're probably in luck. Unless, of course, your name is Anish Kapoor, as he holds the exclusive license to use the product on art. Kapoor, who is famous for creating the bean-shaped statue Cloud Gate in Chicago, has been heavily criticized for trying to maintain his full color. Artist Stuart Semple responded by creating several other colors, including Pinkest Pink, Black 2.0, Black 3.0, and Diamond Dust, which is allowed to be used by everyone in the world, except for Anish Kapoor. Nano Lab in Massachusetts has also created Vantablack-like material known as Singularity Black, which is publicly available, so if you really want the thing to be dark, you can call them whenever possible. Royal purples have been associated with nobility for centuries, and the connection continues to this day. During the Roman Empire, any unscrupulous person who dared to wear purple could be executed. Queen Elizabeth I forbids anyone other than her family to wear it in accordance with secrecy laws that govern what each social class may wear. This reddish-purple color was believed to resemble dried blood, linking the royal family to the idea of a divine dynasty. It became popular with the ruling class in Egypt, Persia and the Roman Empire and lasted until the mid-16th century. The reason for the scarcity of purple dye was that it was so durable and expensive. The Phoenician city of Tyre was the main producer of a dye called Tyrian purple or royal or imperial purple. Hundreds of thousands of sea snails had to be harvested, cracked, and exposed to sunlight to extract the pigment, which led to a really terrible production. Smell. This process required up to 250,000 snails per ounce of dye, making it prohibitively expensive for almost everyone, and the snails were only native to the Mediterranean. Clothes made with this dye never fade and are literally worth their weight in gold. In 1856, teenage chemist William Henry Birkin accidentally invented a much cheaper magenta dye while working on an anti-malarial drug. This new colorant, called magenta, has helped make violets available to everyone. Vermilion is also known as cinnabar in Chinese red, but you definitely don't want to mix it at home. The orange-red color of cochineal is acquired by mercury, and the finer the mercury particles, the brighter the red cochineal. It has been in use for nearly 8,000 years, ever since the ancient Romans brought it in from Spain and used it in cosmetics and art. It was also used to illuminate medieval manuscripts. Prisoners and slaves were entrusted with the dangerous task of obtaining cinnabar in the Spanish mines of Almedina, then heating and grinding to form a pigment. It was also used in Renaissance painting and of course in China, where it got its alternative name. There it was mixed with tree sap and used for temples, ink and pottery. The ancient Chinese made artificial cinnabar, but it was still toxic. It was eventually replaced by cadmium red as an option for 20th century artists because it was much less deadly and did not turn reddish-brown like it did with cochineal. The bright orange-red color is still associated with traditional Chinese culture, associated with luck and happiness,